Now, pineapples are ordinary now. You can get them at the grocery store for about $5, or if you're feeling controversial, you can put them on your pizza. But a few centuries ago, these fruits were considered a luxury. So rare, in fact, that they cost the equivalent of about $10,000. When European explorers eventually made it to South America in the late 1400s, they discovered a fruit they'd never seen before: the pineapple. It was spiky, it was golden, and it was sweet. And by the 1600s, pineapples were making their way back to Europe. But barely, right? It was a long journey, and most of them would rot on the way back to Europe. So really only the richest merchants ever saw a fresh pineapple. So eventually when a fresh pineapple made it to Europe, it was a sensation, right? To own a pineapple meant that you were powerful, you were connected, and you were rich, right? It wasn't really a fruit anymore. It was a statement. Pineapples started to appear in royal banquets, in portraits, and even architecture. But were they eaten? No, they were too expensive for that. Wealthy hosts, they would proudly display them at dinner parties, not as food, but as a decoration. It was a mark of prestige. It was basically like, hey, I'm a rich guy. I just threw this party that's really expensive, and I have this pineapple. That makes me rich, powerful, and connected. And these people would be like, damn, he's rich, powerful, and connected. I gotta get myself a pineapple. I gotta get myself a pineapple. And what merchants would do, which is really cool, is that they would rent them out by the hour. So you'd have this rich guy number one. He'd throw a party night one. Same pineapple would be used for a different rich guy night two, then night three, then night four. And of course it would rot and stuff, but this merchant would get 5, maybe 6 uses out of this one random pineapple for all these rich suckers. But it eventually got to the point where just borrowing a pineapple, that wasn't cool. The really cool thing was growing a pineapple. Now that of course is easier said than done. Remember, we're in Europe. It's cold. It's dark. It's damp. This is not exactly tropical conditions. But the rich people were undeterred, and they started making pineapple houses. Now these were early greenhouses that were glass structures with a coal furnace powering them and keeping them warm for tropical-like conditions. And remember, they were growing a pineapple that wasn't supposed to grow there, that they weren't going to eat. They were just going to put on a table for 5 days, and then it's going to rot and go away. All for vanity. But anyway, these pineries became a next level of status, right? If you could grow your own pineapple, you weren't just rich anymore, you were an aristocrat. And for these people, that meant a lot more. But as time went on, technology improved. So better refrigeration, faster ships, and better preservatives. All of these things made importing pineapples a lot easier, right? So something that was unattainable and just for the rich became an everyday item for people like you and me. In the early 1900s, companies like Dole and Del Monte were canning millions of pineapples a year. So the next time you're at the supermarket and you see a pineapple, just remember, even the stupidest and frankly silliest things can become symbols of power and wealth. And with that, I'm Evan, and thanks for watching. If you liked what you just saw, then click on the video here. Also, if you haven't, like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss any future videos.